I don't know what this generation is all about.
I don't either.
It's a whole new thing.
Well, they're fragile. They're hothouse plants.
Well, what about misinformed?
They were raised wrong.
What about misinformed? What about not having...
Some of it is not their fault, of course.
What about not having a sense of history?
Right. No, absolutely. You're so right. They do not know anything.
He actually doesn't like the fact that young people are more informed and can cut through the BS on the propaganda that tends to favor, regardless of what its government carries.
The outcomes of Billy D. Williams' recent appearance on Bill Maher's podcast, Club Random, have been nothing short of remarkable. Given their similar ideologies, Ana Kasparian and Tank Ugger the Young Turks deliver a harsh and surprising critique of Maher. Maher and Kasparian have strong ties to the woke left and were for years linked to progressive orthodoxy. Despite Maher's progressive shift away from some far-left ideas, they seem to be trapped in this mindset, repeating familiar themes without challenge or dissent. But now he is being betrayed by his old allies. Ana Kasparian's own shifting views are now casting doubt on many of the principles she once defended. Messier was called conservative and out of touch by Kasparian, and Ugger for his recent remarks about youth in his Club Random event. It appears that Ugger is adopting a similar position, most likely as a result of her ideological shift. As the lines of belief continue to blur, former allies are now at conflict, pointing to an intriguing shift in the progressive sector. Kasparian portrays herself as a critic of the radical left while maintaining her progressive identity.
I mean, we're talking about this generation? I don't know what this generation is all about.
I don't either.
It's a whole new thing.
Well, they're fragile. They're hothouse plants.
What about misinformed?
They were raised wrong.
What about misinformed? What about not having...
Some of it is not their fault, of course.
What about not having a sense of history?
Right. No, absolutely. You're so right. They do not know anything.
I mean, what would older men who seem to have all the privilege in the world be if they weren't crapping on young people in America, right? So Bill Maher was recently having a discussion with actor Billy D. Williams on his podcast. If you're unfamiliar with Williams, he's a Star Wars actor. And Maher decided to call young people houseplants. Hey, don't laugh at me, okay? I totally knew that, and I didn't have to look it up or be informed about Williams and what he started.
No, she didn't.
No, totally new. Yeah. Anyway, so they're having a
Lando collision from the original Star Wars trilogy. Even though Ana Kasparian is distancing herself from the far left, it is rather astonishing that she fails to acknowledge Billy D. Williams' importance in popular culture. Even though many people find the most recent Star Wars movies unmemorable, Williams is a cinematic giant whose legacy lives on. He became one of the most recognizable characters in film history due to his charisma and coolness.
About what seems like increasingly strained relationships between Black and Jewish Americans, and that led to a discussion about how young people are supposedly misinformed, but pay close attention to the examples he uses to make his argument. Take a look.
They do not know anything, but it's not their fault because, it's not the responsibility of the child to instruct themselves. I never had to worry about that. Kids today know nothing. They know you don't have to know anything, and they will sign that diploma and kick you out the door if you even finish it. It's criminal. Yes, they don't know anything, but it doesn't sap their confidence in still opining on everything as if they did know something. Like about Gaza, stuff like...
The majority of individuals, particularly the younger generation, can't articulate why they hold such strong opinions regarding complicated geopolitical topics like the Middle East. Instead, they usually borrow their opinions from parents or prominent media characters. Maybe it's worth listening to Maher to see if there's more to his argument than simply the unpleasant tone. We've all seen the get off my lawn type before. Even though he seems cranky, he might not be entirely incorrect. Perhaps that's what Maher is attempting to convey by taking on that sullen old man persona. Omar
doesn't like the fact that young people are more critical of Israel than older people. that young people haven't bought into some of the brainwashing that makes Israel appear to be innocent 100% of the time and Palestinians guilty 100% of the time. And so, yeah, I would actually venture to say that on that particular issue, he actually doesn't like the fact that young people are more informed and can cut through the BS on the propaganda that tends to favor Israel regardless of what its government.
We've all seen protest placards and memes like Gays for Palestine that show a lack of profound understanding. Their involvement frequently results from peer pressure rather than critical thinking or independent study on college campuses. Students participate in protests, hold signs, and yell slogans without fully comprehending the complicated situation because supporting Palestine has become a popular identification marker. The claim that many college students still do not have a firm understanding of the causes they strongly believe in, however, is certainly partially accurate. The fact that some young people are starting to recognize the lies being spread to them is heartening. This is when the discussion becomes interesting. The only reason we might be able to agree on this issue right now is because Israel and Palestine are at war. Most of these activists, however, are not free thinkers. Rather, they are greatly impacted by groupthink and trends that are driven more by a desired blend than by any moral conviction. They might therefore find themselves on the other side of the argument from Kasparians like you and me. Let's face it, a lot of young activists lack the maturity to address more fundamental structural problems like dissent repression or media bias. When they criticize Israel's policies or public relations strategies, I might agree with them, and even with Ana Kasparian.
He's conflating two totally different issues. You might be surprised to hear that I kind of agree with him on one of the issues.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but definitely not both. So what do I mean?
You're getting up there in age. So maybe that's what it is. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so he says young people know nothing. They can get a diploma for, just showing up. Wait. The part about the diploma is unfortunately a little bit true.
It is, yeah. I agree.
And so that's the part I agree with. And that's not because young people suck. It's because we devastated funding for public schools.
No, I disagree. I think what he's referring to colleges, right?
I thought he was referring to high schools, but even if he's referring to colleges, that's a little bit more of a mixed bag. I mean, it's not like people that go to these elite colleges know nothing, but are they, on average, way more left-wing? Yes, that's true. And that's a third issue. That's a different issue.
That's a separate problem. My main issue is that many college graduates are not only unprepared for the real world, but the school itself fails them. I've seen acquaintances who went to college have degrees and grasp complex theories or mathematics they'll never use, but they lack basic practical skills. I never went to college because I believe it's a waste of time unless you're pursuing a specific career like STEM medicine or law. I am not merely referring to the collegiate leftist sentiments. I think that education is a tremendous waste of time and money unless there is a clear practical employment route that demands a degree. This is because universities today feel more like ideological echo chambers selling trendy woke narratives than institutions teaching true critical thinking. When they enter the workforce, many college grads quickly realize how much more they still need to study, despite their delusion of intellectual supremacy.